Hi. I'm just trying to contact you about your extended warranty. Kidding. Right. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, here we go. That's on. Oh, hit the record button. Always helpful. Yeah. Hello there. I'm Scott Scottington, and I'm a developer on a wildly popular, massively multiplayer online role-playing game, The Elder Scrolls Online. In recent years, we've come to notice that, while easily one of the most popular MMOs on the market, that 5 or 6 people have complained to us that the game is too hard, and we want to let you know we're listening. Which is why we're not only introducing companions, which are NPCs that fight alongside you so that you don't have to, but we're removing 24-man dungeons and limiting them to 12. But also we're going to make up that other 12 that you'd need for that with the same companions. Also available on the Crown Store. Who has time to queue up in our already easy-to-use group finder or join a raiding guild with one of the 5 guilds you can be in when we can just dumb it down for everybody? We're very excited for this move and don't really care how it affects things like role players, large guilds, 99.99% of the player base. We just have to listen to that 0.01 of gamers that thought our game was really hard. So we are. And we're also excited for the new systems in the works, which I'm going to give you a quick sneak preview for, such as autoplay. You click a button and the game just plays itself, and also God mode, where we give you top tier loot at level 1 just for leaving Cold Harbor. Please look forward to it. Thank you. Oop. Helps if I do the other thing.
This is Crashed While Loading, the fusion of entertainment and information.
Hello there.
Weekly updates and opinions on video games,
You were almost a Jill sandwich.
You're right.
movies,
I'm about to do to you what Limp Bizkit did to music in the late 90s.
TV shows,
This is the way.
This is the way.
and so much more.
TJ, what do you want to do tonight?
Off. We need to go on a quick adventure. Oh, I swear I talk. Hello, people of the interwebs. Welcome to the 30th episode of Crashed While Loading. I am your host, Asher Phoenix, and this is, of course, the only podcast powered by adult ADHD. So, I appreciate you listening. If you're listening to the podcast after the fact, which is good because it is a podcast, but you want to listen to it live, you can go to twitch.tv/crashedwhilaloading and subscribe, do the thing where okay, so apparently I've heard this is completely unrelated to anything I had. It just popped into my head because, again, ADHD. I've heard that, what was it? I think it was Twitch and maybe YouTube. We're getting rid of the word subscribers. Like, you don't need to subscribe anymore. That they're going to call it follow and like. Just followers. They're going to get rid of the title subscribing because apparently they're saying that people were thinking that if you subscribe to something that it was going to be a monthly charge, that to subscribe to a show on YouTube that you're paying for that instead of just following them, basically. I don't know how many people that had to have happened to that they're actually like, yeah, we should probably just stop saying subscribers because people are too stupid to not know the difference between just following someone and subscribing to it for free and thinking they have to pay for something. I never even remotely crossed my mind that when you call it subscribers, I know there is a thing that you can do to give people money, but you have to go out of your way to be like, here's the money. So I don't know. Humanity as a whole is just depressing at times. But anyway, so there's that. Yeah, twitch.tv/crashwhillloading. Follow it there. And, if you want to throw a review on iTunes, whatever, do the thing that, helps get the podcast out more. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your mother. You never call her, you never write. You got to talk to your mother. And I appreciate that. So, what have we got? Good news. I have a thing for that, actually, of course, there was an update to that. So, this is going to be completely...
Good news, everyone!
There we go. For some reason, everything sounds really quiet today on my earphones. I think it's just my earphones, because according to the levels here, everything looks like it's coming through loud and clear. So, I'll mess with my headphones later. I got an Xbox Series X. And I like it a lot. It's a lot of fun. I've played a lot of video games on it because they're a lot better than the Xbox One that was old and not working properly. Like, I can't put a disc in the Xbox One and just have it, slide in. Like, it'll suck it in, but then it won't read it. So what you have to do is, when it starts to suck it in, you got to have your finger in that hole. That's what she said. And when it starts to pull on it, you got to give it a count of 2 or 3, and it struggles, and then you let it go, and it sucks it in, and then it will read it. But if you just put it in there all willy-nilly, it won't read that. So, yeah, it was very different. Yep, Xbox Series X. The new one, the big, giant brick of a beast, Ericus. This thing, it is not an attractive console. It is hideously ugly. It's just a big black rectangle, and that's all there is to it. It's just there. It's as consoles go, it's honestly one of the ugliest. And it's still smaller than the PlayStation 5, which I saw at a Walmart in a glass case. They weren't selling it, obviously. And that thing is fucking huge. I thought this Xbox was big, and then I saw that monstrosity. And if I get a PS5 eventually, I'm not doing what I did to get to the Xbox. I'll go into that. It was fun. I don't know if I have a spot in my entertainment center that would fit the thing, even on its side, let alone standing up. Because I think standing up, it's somewhere around 8 feet tall. I'm not good with numbers at all. But it looks about 8 feet tall, if I had to guess. It's massive. I know everyone's like, yeah, the consoles are huge, but until you see it, it doesn't register how friggin' big these next-gen consoles are. So I did get one. I had to do the monthly service plan where you pay $35 a month for 2 years. But it comes, that buys you the $500 Xbox Series X and 2 years, 24 months worth of Game Pass Ultimate, which I was already paying for anyway. So, oddly enough, it sounds like a scam, but when you do the math of how much it cost, $15 a month for Ultimate, and of course that's given that it doesn't go up within the next 2 years, because I'll still be paying what I'm paying now. And the $500 console, you actually spend $20 less overall. So, even though it is a credit loan, in point of fact, it actually does not cost you interest, and it doesn't cost as much as the actual console. You just takes 2 years to pay it off. And I'm sure I could probably just go in and pay it off all at once, but honestly, since it doesn't cost me more, whatever. So getting this, I was following, I don't know how many Twitter accounts to try to find when these things would go on sale. And this was Wednesday at 9 Central Time, my time, 10 for you Easterners, and nobody gives a shit about the Pacific. I used to live there. There's nothing redeeming about the entire coast. It's all garbage except for the weather, but the people are terrible. So it went on sale at 9. Well, the good news is that GameStop tweeted out the link and where you could do this. And then 10 minutes later said, oops, our bad, that's the wrong link, and here's the right one. Professional at GameStop. And then I spent 30 minutes refreshing a screen. I finally got to be able to add it to the cart. Then I had to go through the process for the loan thingy. And then didn't take that, so I had to back out and go in again. All the while, I'm like shaking, trying to be excited that I might actually get this damn thing. And sure enough, it actually worked. And I got it. And I'll be damned if Friday. I got it Wednesday, and it showed up on my doorstep Friday. 2 days later. I was expecting it like next week sometime. And it's awesome. Yeah, like I said, it's a beast of a thing, but it works really well. I actually started playing Outriders again, which I think I've talked about before. I liked it on the PC when they did the demo. Then I got it because it's on Game Pass on the Xbox One, and it played like hot fucking garbage. It was a mess. It was bad. Bad. It was very bad. And let's see, what am I doing here? And yeah, okay. Oops, I closed the whole thing down. What is that? There we go. But so now I'm playing it on this, and it's much better. I still prefer a mouse and keyboard. I mean, it's a third-person shooting cover-based game, even though the covering will get you killed almost all the time because you've got to be killing things to get your life back. But it's good. It plays really well. It looks awesome in 4K. So, you know, I know some people like Ericus don't like Xboxes, but some people like Ericus are dumb. Yeah, take that, Ericus. You can't defend yourself because if you make a comment, I don't have to read it on air. Anyway, now it also the PlayStation 5 is still fucking harder to get than the Xbox was, and let me tell you, the Xbox was a bitch. And you'll keep spamming it. I really want spam now. What? Yuck, I don't like spam. So, yeah, the PlayStation's still actually harder to get. I think part of it is because the console sellers are... It's a lot harder for them to do the monthly thing where you pay it out for 2 years. And careful doing that too, Ericus. The bot might actually ban you. I'll have nothing to do with it, but it might actually kick in. So just be careful. It is funny, but I mean, you're spamming yourself. You're the only one in the chat. You're doing it to look what you made yourself do. But yeah, so it's awesome. I really enjoyed it. I'm I got other games. When Sib gets back, she's down in Florida. We're gonna play. We finished Halo 1, I told you last week, so we're gonna start Halo 2, and I think it'll play even smoother than it did before. So I'm looking forward to having a new console to actually, even though there's no new games out for it really, outside of the Medium, which I have on PC. I played it there, and I still need to finish now that I say that out loud. But no, it's cool. I'm glad I got it. So moving on, I'm going to talk about Falcon and the Winter Soldier and the new Mortal Kombat movie at the end of the show, because I will have spoilers and things like that in my half-ass review of Mortal Kombat and the first season of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But don't worry, I'm not doing it right now. I'm going to do spoiler stuff at the end of the show. That way you don't have to be like trying to skip forward and blah, blah, blah. I always hate when people do that stuff on podcasts. So going into the news, for you anime nerds out there, good news, like me, that Macross and Robotech, which I didn't even realize this is what was keeping it out, have finally just settled the rights and opened the door for international releases. So I'm not going to even pretend to understand how all of this really came about. I mean, I'll give you what I can figure out of it. It's weird. So apparently it's 3 studios that were involved in this. One was Big West, Studio Nui, and Harmony Gold. And they've been in a licensing struggle since, I think it was 1998. So 2 decades this thing has been in a legal limbo. So Harmony Gold had the rights, and that's why we got things like Macross, and they pulled that into, called it Robotech. So there was Macross 2, Macross Plus, and there's all Robotech stuff. But there's been apparently a lot of other things that have come out, but they didn't have the stuff to release it internationally. So now that these three have all agreed that Harmony Gold recognizes Gold's license to it, because apparently there was also an old company named Tetsunoko that sold the rights to Harmony Gold, but it wasn't the sole owner of the rights. And those other companies then, kept suing for it because they were claiming that they didn't have it. So from director Kaya Onishi says, stories that feature Valkyries, a transformable, realistic mecha in action among the galaxies while divas sing in the background, as well as the love triangles involving the pilots and singers. That was and continues to be the concept behind the Macross series. And I am happy that I can now help bring Macross to people all over the world on the 40th anniversary of the series. Dang, I can't believe it's been out that long. I am old. I would like to express my deepest gratitude to Harmony Gold chairman Frank Agrayama for the courageous decision in the matter. So, the good news, everyone, that we're going to get the whole rest of Macross and Robotech just released all over the world finally. Apparently, we've really been missing out because there's all sorts of movies and things like that, I mean, it's modern day. You can obviously download it. But it would be a lot cooler to get, like, the upgraded version and all that, and all the dubs, because, I mean, the subtitles, no, dubs, because dubs are pretty good these days, and subtitles are, I like watching the action on the screen. I don't like reading subtitles if I don't have to. I will. I did it for Naruto. I did it for Dragon Ball Super, and I've done it for a lot of anime and, foreign films like, what's the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, blah, blah, blah. They're great. But at least with Crouching Tiger, they weren't talking during the fight scenes. I hate when there's talking and a fight scene at the same time. It's really annoying because you can't concentrate on both and you're missing something. So I'm a fan of Robotech. I've always have been. Apparently I'm not so big a fan as that I didn't realize we were missing out on like a majority of all the new content and stuff. So, hey, I'm going to have a lot of anime to watch here in I don't know, probably a year or more now that they've got this. And also in other news, apparently there's a big thing among scientists that should Martians eat each other? I mean, we don't have Martians yet, as the joke goes that Mars is entirely inhabited by robots. It's literally the robot capital of the solar system. It is their planet, and we have to give them their right to whatever-izing the place. So, there's apparently Popular Science was talking about when we send people to Mars, if something goes wrong, should the crew eat each other? It's they have to think of every scenario possible. I'm personally of the mind that yes, just go ahead and eat them if they're already dead, or if I don't know, you draw straws to see like who's the most marbled. Maybe go off of that. Like me, I'm losing weight. I've lost a lot of weight, but I'm still well marbled. You're definitely gonna get the most bang for your buck if you had to slice me up and grill me. As opposed to a lot of astronauts, they're pretty much just lean muscle, and frankly, you want someone that's marbled. You need to get that fat in there too. Marble, not marvels. You haven't been marveled. Marble, like marbling and meat, where it's a combination of the red meat and the fat marbled together. That's marbling. But I'm well marbled, and a marvel at being marbled. So, I don't know. It's kind of, it was kind of marbled cheese. Yes, I have no idea what that is, you weird Canadian lunatic. So yeah, they're talking about this, and it just it came from, I guess they were watching the movie The Martian with Matt Damon, which, by the way, is actually a really good movie. Sort of his stupid line where he says, I'm going to science the shit out of this. It's rather a dumb line. But it was a good movie, and for all the shit I give him, he's a pretty good actor. I mean, He's no Ben Affleck, obviously. I just, right, Batman. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know what they decided. I would assume it would probably be a case-by-case scenario, but, you know, I saw people like, well, just put the body into the soil mixture. It's like, this isn't Water World. They're not just, like, dumping bodies into the mixture. The soil on Mars would have to be, it's not growable. We'd have to probably use hydroponics, and you probably don't want to put a dead dude in your hydroponic bay. It seems like probably a bad idea, but you could get the nutrients. But I mean, if you're to the point where you have to eat people, you're probably not like, you know what we should do? We should plant Bob in the tomatoes. That seems like a good idea. I mean, he's not doing anything. So, sorry, Bob, you lost. Yeah, go bury yourself up to the neck in the potatoes, and we'll finish you off after that. Yeah, doesn't work like that. So there's that. And other news here, moving on. I think I reported this a couple weeks ago that Microsoft was in the talks to buy Discord for $10 billion. And apparently now that is not going to happen. They're no longer in talks to buy Discord, and that's good. I think it would have been good for Xbox to have Discord and be able to integrate it into everything. But they also are famous for things like Mixer and whatnot, and I don't know that they wouldn't completely fuck up what makes Discord the thing that it has become. It's amazing. I love Discord. I look at it probably as much as Facebook, if not more than Facebook, because it's very useful. I've got the show, I've got a guild, I've got another guild. There's Scribbles' Defend the Night. There's RPHQ, which is still out and about, still kicking, by the way, rphq.org. And they also have a thing, Upper Echelon Games, ESORP, which is still trash. You know, useful stuff. It's a great thing, and I'm really glad Microsoft. I would hope they weren't going to ruin it, but I kind of had my doubts. I was dubious. It wouldn't have happened quickly. But if they didn't let the people do what they wanted to do instead of just throwing money at them, I was a little worried. So we're safe for now. Doesn't mean it's not going to happen later when something's valued at over $7 billion. They've done really well for themselves in the very short time they've been around. So moving on to something that's just butt-ass stupid. So Resident Evil The Village, Resident Evil 8, with Lady Mommy Milkers, comes out 7th of May, which I have an Xbox now, and I'm going to play that, and I'm not allowed to play it without Sib around, though. She has made that abundantly clear that when that game comes out, I am not allowed to play when she's not there. She can play the games, but she really enjoys, for some reason, it's a thing we do. Like, she watched me play all of Resident Evil 7 until, of course, I got to the last, 40 minutes of the game and beat it, and she fell asleep somewhere in that 40-minute time span, and I didn't realize it. Otherwise, I'd have hit her in the head with the controller, which is the proper thing to do to get someone's attention when you're gaming and they want to watch. You just bop them in the head with the other end of the controller.
Wrong, 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 wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong. You're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong.
Well, that's your opinion. So Resident Evil, they've had a demo come out for the PlayStation 5. So now they're going to do, that was called, I think, The Castle, which is basically, there's no combat in that. You basically are just, it shows you what the game is going to look like. So for some reason, they're doing another demo, which is great. Demos are always good. I mean, that's why I'm playing Outriders, is because of the demo. Otherwise, I don't think I'd have given the game a second look. But, so, here's the release schedule. On PlayStation 4 and 5, it was today, which is good that I'm reporting on it now, and you're going to listen to it the day after it's already over. But that's okay. It was only up for a total of 8 hours anyway. So, like, the amount of time to download it and play it, and then it's no longer playable, is only an 8-hour window today. And you can only explore 30 minutes of that demo. Like, it's got a 30-minute timer, and then it turns you off. That's what she said. Why 8 hours? Like, dude, just release a demo and let it stay out there. Sure, the 30-minute timer, fine, fucking whatever. That's just perfectly fine. You know, you don't want to play the whole. You're not giving the whole game away for free. But leaving it only available to be done for 8 hours. I mean, people's shifts last that long. So you've got people that probably went to work when it started and get off when it finished, and it was over and it's gone, which is dumb. It's a dumb thing to do. But that's not the only thing they're doing. So it's 8 hours today, and then May 2nd, May 1st here in the States, because who cares about the UK, frankly. I think there's like 8 people total that have ever downloaded the show in the UK. So of you 8, you're awesome. The rest of rest of it, I don't care. So on May 1st in America, it'll start at 5 p.m. Pacific time and be available to play for a 24-hour period. And it will have both of them. It'll have the castle and it will have this new demo. But you can only do a total of 60 minutes for both. And then you're done. Why? I mean, I'm don't get me wrong, I'm going to download the demo that's the castle that you don't fight in, because that is its own thing. It's you play it and you're done. It's actually not it's not a part of the game. There's no way in hell I'm downloading the demo of the game that actually lets you play the actual game just so that I could play that over, especially when I'm only going to get like maybe 30 minutes total out of that. I'd rather just do the demo with the castle just to see what the game's going to look like. But who came up with this convention of demoing this in this time frame? I don't know what they were thinking. If you're going to do a demo, just put the demo out, leave the demo out. People want to see what it's like, they can download it. They can play it for half an hour, whatever. That's fine. The half-hour thing is not the problem. The problem is that you're limiting it to a single day or 8 hours, which is just a chunk of a day. It's a little over a quarter of a day. So I don't know what they're thinking. I mean, I like demos. That's a good thing. But why they're doing it that way, who knows? It's Capcom is weird. Moving on. This one I am excited for, if it's true. Now, take this all with a grain of salt, because it is only a rumor at this time. But it's a rumor that seems like it would be a true thing, given the number of remakes lately. I like Knights of the Old... I'm reading the article. So, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, Kotor. They spelled it N-I-G-H-T. They forgot the K. You no good English nigget. They just went with the nigget. And that's all there is to it. There's no K in the nigget. Wow, that almost went bad very quickly if I had stopped that word right when I almost did. Yeah, improv. So, yeah, apparently there's rumors that they're going to remake, not remaster, Knights of the Old Republic, the original from 2003, which is a fucking awesome game. And that's where you heard about Darth Revan and Darth Malak, which also, side note, apparently they're saying that Darth Revan is going to be canon. One of these new TV shows, I think it's Acolyte, claims that they're going to actually have like a holocron from Revan in the show, which fucking finally make that guy canon in every way, shape, and form you can. So, yeah, this follows Revan and Malak, obviously big. If you haven't played it by now, you are Revan the whole time. You just didn't know it, and the Jedi fucked with your head. The Jedi were actually kind of assholes. And then Revan went on to be awesome in every way, shape, and form. He even showed up in what's the Knights of the Old Republic, Star Wars: The Old Republic, the MMO, and he was good in that too. He is still awesome. So Revan's a badass. He's a good good character, and it's cool that he's going to do that. So if they remake this game, apparently what they're going to do is it's the remakes, like Final Fantasy VII Remake. So it would be rebuilt from the ground up. And honestly, as long as they get the story and the the decisions and skill trees and not skill trees, but the decision trees and all that stuff. Because remember, this was actually a BioWare game. This was BioWare before they did Mass Effect. This is what they took what they learned from doing Old Republic here and Knights of the Old Republic and made Mass Effect out of that. And they did really good for 3 of them. And then they lost their way, as unfortunately happens with Andromeda and then Anthem. And now they're going back to Mass Effect, probably Mass Effect 4, and we can hope and pray that they've figured out what the hell was wrong with them and why they keep making failures of games. But a lot of it, that's, they're saying that there's not a lot of information, but they're going to update, they're modernizing it, so it won't have the real-time turn-based combat system. They would make it more of an action RPG. I'd think in the way of probably something like Mass Effect, maybe. I don't know. Honestly, I don't care. I didn't play that game for the gameplay. I played that game for the story. The gameplay was fine for its time, but it does not hold up well by modern standards. The game hasn't aged well. It's from 2003. It's almost 20 years old. So yeah, I hope that this happens. It's a game. Do they have what was the company? Asper. The company named Asper. That usually they do they don't usually do remakes. They do remasters, but they're supposedly in line to be doing the remake on this. So, man, I hope so. I would love to play a modern version of KOTOR again. I want to go back and play it now, but I have tried, and it is a shoddy mess. It's really janky. You can't control the camera and thing. I'm sure there's probably ways to mod it on PC, but that's really just a pain in the ass. You're polishing a graphical turd at that point. But it was, for its time, everything was voice acted. It was an RPG. It was, just the number of dialogue options and the things that you could do by picking light side or dark side. It really made you feel like you were that character, and that was awesome. So moving on to gaming news and poking fun at ESO. Apparently, this is actually a real thing. The stupid thing I did at the beginning with the 24-man raid going away. That's a real thing. Apparently, on the test server right now, they've done away with the 24-man group raid, and they've knocked it down to 12. And then the companions that they're introducing are going to make up the other 12 people that would have been there if they didn't take away people. And it's not like they're just not having the 24-man group option at all. They're just having it so it's not needed. They're just apparently taking it away. So people like myself, role players, things like that, people in huge guilds that actually use the 24-man raid thing for other things, they're going to be in a lot of trouble. I think it's a horrible idea. I know it's kind of bummed out a lot of people playing the game. Jazz didn't seem very pleased. Nobody that I saw seemed pleased. I kept waiting for the person to come in and be like, no, guys, you misread this. I went through the whole, on their thing, it's now up to 6 pages long, which in itself tells you that it's probably going to happen on the playtest server, because it's on the public server and it's only got 6 pages of complaints, which means it's not enough probably to make them stop, because they've really got to have a backlash to actually respond to people. So, yeah, I think it's a dumb idea. Somebody mentioned, I think it might have been Ericist, about how they'll probably, I'm sure there'll be a quest to get your companions, and then they'll also have you buying them off of the Crown Store for who knows how much. EverQuest 2 did the exact same thing. Oh, that'd be cool. Eric just says he heard Keanu Reeves is playing Revan in a KOTOR movie. I haven't heard that, but I would be. I don't know. I like Keanu, but I almost would rather them have somebody less known to be in that role. I mean, he would do fine. He's definitely got the look that they, the quote unquote canon look of Revan. He would definitely have that down, but he's also very stiff. He really only plays the one guy, and I love him for it. But I don't know. I kind of wish I hope they pick somebody else, to be honest with you. As much as I like Keanu Reeves. Yeah, so there'll be EverQuest 2, like I was saying. They did the companion thing. It kind of dumbed the game down, and then, of course, you could buy them, which was even dumber. We're not pay to win, but you can buy a companion that has extra bonuses. That's pay to win, dummy. Yeah, so, all right, moving on. Last in the news, before I get to my reviews of the show and the movie, this one, while I had to look into this, because I don't know a lot about World of Warcraft, and I know very little about Blizzard. It's one of my, I've admitted, it's Blizzard and a lot of their games are one of the biggest blind spots in my video game archive of knowledge. I know the games, but I don't know a lot of the internal workings. Not like I did with something like, Square Enix and stuff like that. I don't even know ESO all that much because it doesn't really matter. But over at Blizzard, a guy named Jeff Kaplan is retiring after 19 years. And looking into this, because, it seemed like a big deal, especially when I saw that he was the game director of, what was this? Overweight? Yeah, Blizzard Entertainment's Overweight. No, Overwatch. Okay, I read it. Yeah, Overwatch. I guess supposedly this is some sort of a popular game. I don't know. Video games are dumb and they cause people to be overly violent. So I personally don't trust them. I wouldn't play a video game, especially a violent one. If it's not Hello Kitty Online Adventures, it's too violent for me. But no. So this Jeff Kaplan, I assume it sounds like he's just retiring. I mean, 19 years at a company, and especially he was the vice president over there. So he's probably well off at this point, given, especially when I looked into his career. He's done a few good things. And he seems to do it without the swagger and mentality of like a Todd Howard or even a Hideo Kojima, which I love them both, but, they definitely got an ego on them. So if you've ever played Overwatch, he was the guy that was always in the update developer videos. So, you kind of know him from that. He started back in May of 2002 over at Blizzard and was thrown into World of Warcraft and was recruited from all places. I loved this. He was recruited as a player from EverQuest into Blizzard. He was the leader of a guild named Legacy of Steel and went by the name of, I don't know if it's Tigoli or Tiggle. I'm going to go with Tigole or Tigole. Tigole! I'm going to go with that. But apparently he was real passionate, spoke out about the game, knew the mechanics. He liked EverQuest, and he was very vocal about what things that needed to be, could be changed or done better. And Blizzard was wanting to start up this World of Warcraft thing, unbeknownst to him at the time. And so they started inviting, for like 6 months, they invited him to different events and things like that. And he admitted that they were basically just interviewing him for the job and talking to him through all of this. They basically, Mr. Miyagi interviewed him for World of Warcraft. He had no idea what was going on. He was just wax on and wax off. And then they're like, "You want a job?" So, but I love this quote too from him. He was talking to, Kaplan here is talking to something called The Edge, or Edge. The Edge is a local radio station, but Edge is some sort of online thing. He was quoted as saying, "Our old estimates for how many quests we thought we were going to do versus how many quests we ended up doing were radically off." Yes. So as they were designing Azeroth, they had stories and things like that explore. things to explore. They had all these quests, even if it was just killing the 6 rats for the farmer, they had the story, and they apparently, as anybody knows, I know, I've played a little bit of World of Warcraft. I never got into it. I've tried. But EverQuest and stuff like that, they're all the same when it comes to the ungodly number of quests and writing that go into them. ESO's the same way. Final Fantasy, good God. The main story quest alone is, an umpteen-hour game. I know, because I'm playing through it right now, and then I've decided that I want to actually level up a rogue and ninja, so I've switched over, and now I have to catch up to level 50. Good news, I'm level 12 to start over again. That was really dumb of me. But, I wanted to try a tank. It turns out I can tank. I am not a fan. It's fucking stressful. So, anyway, moving on. So he was doing the World of Warcraft thing. It was mildly successful. At, I think, what did it top out at? 13, 14 million subscribers at its peak. I know it's nowhere near that. It's probably half that now. And even half of that is still millions above its closest competitors. So there's that. In 2008, he became the game director for World of Warcraft and did a little-known expansion called the Wrath of the Lich King. I think some people may have heard of that. It seems very popular amongst the childrens that play these devil-incarnate video games. These evil... I mean, he's a Lich King. He is undead. That's witchcraft. And I personally will not stand for it. No. Good day to you, Mr. Witchcraft. Yeah, it's very popular. It was probably hailed as one of the greatest expansions of MMOs ever. I, again, didn't play it, but even Ericus in the chat, best expansion in WoW history, apparently. I know he plays that, so I'm going to take his word for it. For me right now, best expansion that I've ever played is Shadowbringers in Final Fantasy XIV. It's fucking awesome. Story-wise and the stuff they add to it. The dungeons, that's my favorite. Before that was Fadewar and EverQuest 2, and what was the one? There was one, it wasn't Kunark. Although, yeah, Kunark was a great one in EverQuest. And the others are all fairly forgettable. Right up into Planes of Power, which destroyed everything in EverQuest. So, no, it sounds like the guy, he was awesome. So he's been art director. He did the Wrath of the Lich King. Then he went on to a new MMO, what was codenamed Titan. This one never saw the light of day. Apparently, don't know what happened to it. There's not a lot of information, but it just collapsed. It was supposed to be the most ambitious MMO ever created, and that's probably why we never saw it. They probably over-ambitioned or was outside of the technology at the time. 2000. Yeah, I mean, it's possible, because even recently, MMOs take a lot, which is why when I talked about that Dream World last week, or the week before, that's some bullshit. When something like Blizzard can't do what those guys are saying, it's not possible. So, after Titan folded, he went on to a little thing called Overwatch, and a lot of this was kind of his brainchild. He's the head honcho on this, although apparently he's real good about saying it's always a team effort. It's not made by any one person. He's, like I said, he doesn't seem like he has the big ego like Todd Howard or Hideo Kojima or some of the other Smedley from Sony Online. Although I like Smedley. He's a pretty good guy. Ralph Koster from Star Wars Galaxies. Those guys that really take the lead and like they're the face of it. So, but yeah, just, I don't need to go into much of what Overwatch is. If you don't know what it is, you've probably clicked on the podcast by accident and then we're in a horrible car accident and you're just waiting for the ambulance to arrive and it's just playing over the speakers still. And for that, I apologize. I hope everything's okay. By the way, you forgot to pay your last car insurance bill, so this is all coming out of pocket, and you're destitute and destroyed for the rest of your life. You'll never pay this off. Also, they're going to have to take that left foot. It's definitely crippled, and by the time they get there and get you out, there's not going to be anything left. It's just going to be dead. So, yeah, sorry about that. Anyway, hope you feel better. But apparently he's also known real good. He's like for his communication and updates about the game, kind of sets the gold standard for developer customer information sharing. It's just something a lot of companies are really terrible at. So, good for him. I hope he enjoys retirement and spends time with his family. It doesn't sound like it's a bad breakup like Hideo Kojima and Konami were. They're not forcing him out or anything. He's not, as far as I know, he's not pissed off. I couldn't find anything like an explanation, just like he's just retiring. It's like, you got to do it sooner or later. And he's headed up Overwatch 2, so I'm sure it's already well on its way. I mean, they've shown videos and stuff from it, so it's pretty far along. And I think it comes out at the end of the year, or is it next year? It's hard to. Everything's pushed back so far. I can't keep track of half the games anymore. So, good for him, and hopefully Blizzard can. He sounds like he was a pillar inside the company, so. Hopefully they can go on without him and not lose their way, like, say, Disney after Walt's death. Is there no release date for Overwatch 2? Okay, so maybe that was just the rumor I heard. If that's the case, I'm guessing they'll either do a surprise thing where they're like, and here's footage from Overwatch, and it's out in 2 months, which is, I love that. I would prefer they do that, what was that? Was it Fallout 5? 4? Whatever the last Fallout was, not 76, because that was whatever. Although I think they did that for too, where they showed the footage and they're like, and it's out in 5 months. So we didn't have long to wait. And it was, I love when companies do that rather than the Cyberpunk thing where they announced it, 10 years ago and then it finally comes out. It's annoying as hell. Just do that. So that's that. That's all the news and stuff. So now I'm going to go into the reviews.
This is Crash While Loading's half-ass reviews. Maybe we finished it. Maybe we didn't. But either way, here's what we thought of it.
Yeah, I remembered I had a sounder for reviews. So, these are going to have spoilers in it. So if you have not finished Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and the new Mortal Kombat, which you can see in theaters or on HBO Max, which is what I did, because, again, an 86-inch TV and surround sound, and it was fucking awesome. It's very loud. It's very brutal and stuff. So if you don't want it spoiled, now's your chance to fuck off, actually. Just go. I didn't want you here anyway. If you don't want... big baby about it now. I get it. I don't want to spoil things for people. I try not to. I hate it when it happens to me. I'm sure I'm going to have this stuff happen. But, so Falcon, you've been warned now. So if you're still here and you're still listening, get your fat fingers and click the off button. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I liked it. It was fine. It was good. It wasn't as good as WandaVision. The villains were kind of weak. I mean, they were strong because they were super soldiers, but they were weak in that I didn't give a shit about it. They were doing, it's like a global repatriation thing because everyone came back after the blip is what they call it, when everybody returned, when Tony Stark re-snapped and brought everyone back 5 years later. And people were, people had moved on. People's house that had somebody in there now had somebody else living in there, perhaps. And so it is a mess. And I like that they go after that. But these Flag Smashers, they're basically like the Antifa or Occupy Wall Street of the world, but way more strong and way less annoying. And they don't, we're one world, one people. Okay, it's globalist agenda kind of stuff. And that works because they were radicals and they had stolen the super soldier serum. They had 20 vials, blah, 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 blah. They got their asses handed to them constantly, man. Even Falcon, before he got all Captain America-y, when he just had his Falcon, he's just a dude with wings for the most part, and knows how to fight. And he was taking him out. I mean, yeah, they messed him up quite a bit. but they're a small army of Captain Americas. That's the same super soldier serum, just with there we go. And they were pretty unfunctional. The big thing too, of course, was that they, crowned a new Captain America. Man, he didn't do so hot. He was good. I really liked that guy. Before I get into that, though, there was, Sam and Bucky, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. The two actors were great on screen together. They had great chemistry. They were very funny, especially when they weren't getting along at the start. And then, as you would expect, they grew to like each other, became friends over the 6 episodes, and it evolved nicely. I think it was done real well. There was also a thing with a secret black super soldier that was in the show, and he was in jail for 30 years. They experimented on him because of them trying to do the super soldier serum again. They always were trying to recreate what they did with Captain America, and it failed a lot. A lot of them died. For some reason, he survived and got strong, and then they experimented on him because they weren't going to let, back in the 50s, they weren't going to let a black guy be, Captain America, which is not inaccurate, especially during that time period. Given it wasn't like that everywhere, it was largely the South and things like that. But it was a dark period in American and world history. So I've seen some people complain that this was just like a Black Lives Matter wink and nod, and it was shoehorned in. And I don't know, maybe it was. Like, I don't like Black Lives Matter, the company. The movement this should be separated from the company, because the movement didn't buy a $3 million mansion like the co-founder of Black Lives Matter, Inc. It is a company, by the way. Remember that. And so that part I don't agree with. The initial thing, that's fine. Yes, because Black Lives Matter, everyone's lives matter. It's all good. Nobody should have to live in fear for their whole life. Whatever stupid thing you've got to say so that whatever. But you get what I'm saying. Everything's fine. But there are some things that are shoehorned in to virtue signal, for example, how to do these things. And perhaps this was it. I honestly thought the story was done really well. It was a lot better than The Rookie, Season 3, with Nathan Fillion. The first 2 seasons, it's a cop show. The first 2 seasons, The Rookie, were fantastic. This season, they announced that they were, because of the stuff over the summer, that they were going full in with all this stuff, to the point where they really ruined their own show. Like, all the cops are afraid of each other for some reason all of a sudden, even though they've had no reason to be. They bring in Brandon Routh, who was the Superman before Henry Cavill, and he's just this like over the top bigoted cop, and it's just so blatantly obvious what they're doing with it that it has absolutely no impact whatsoever, as opposed to this, which seemed very heartfelt and well written, a lot better written than that was, because it makes sense, and I forget his name now, but the black super soldier guy that had spent 30 years in jail and was announced he was only out because he managed to fake his own death, and he was just kind of living his best life. But he had said that no black man would ever wear the Stripes and Stripes, and anyone that did that would be, I think it was like a traitor or something like that, and that wouldn't ever happen. Well, obviously at the end of this, Falcon becomes Captain America. He gets a new vibranium suit from Wakanda. He looks fucking badass. He kicks some ass, because that suit was a lot stronger than his other one. Because vibranium, by the way, is what the shield's made of. It's like it's up there with adamantium in the Marvel universe. But the whole show basically is Falcon's struggle to take on the mantle of Captain America. It was Cap wanted him to do that, but Captain America wanting you to do that is totally different. Like, he seriously struggled with it, because he was, he's Sam. He's just some dude with wings and goggles, and a soldier. And Captain America was fucking Captain America, who was a guy that was so righteous, good, and worthy, he could pick up and carry Thor's hammer and Mjolnir. And who can compete with that? Sure, why not? Yeah, I could totally take up, everything you stood for and the best of, humanity rolled into one dude that's super strong, basically. We also got the introduction of Bad Cap, who eventually it turns into U.S. Agent. And so Discount Captain Walker was amazing. And by the way, too, the guy that played him is called Wyatt Russell. You might know him as Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn's kid, which made me like him even more. But he did an awesome job because he's given, the government gives him the shield because Sam gave up the shield for a museum because he wasn't going to take the mantle up at the start of the show. And of course, then they do what governments do, and they announced another guy who was a soldier, who was just a regular ass soldier, gave him the shield, said he is the new Captain America. And he could not live up to that at all. That standard was way high, and he was not ready at all for that, to the point where, he uses the shield and, like, crushes a dude's skull in because it just killed, not even the guy that his skull he crushed, but somebody else in the Flag Smashers killed his partner, and he lost his shit. He was already losing his shit. And so, in the middle of a square and over in Europe, he just bashes this guy in with that shield, and it's just this big bloody streak up the shield. It was an awesome, awesome scene. Really well done. And then, then he's, obviously it was recorded. He gets discharged. He's no longer allowed to be Captain America, but he gets all pissed off, and he makes his own shitty metal shield. And somewhere in all this, he actually managed to get hold of one of the Flag Smashers' vials of super soldier serum and injected himself. So he had all the power, and it, as his buddy said, having that kind of power doesn't corrupt you. It just shows you who you really are. And who he really was not a good guy. He was not a good guy. So that all happens, and then they bring in Madam Hydra, whose real name I can't pronounce. And it was kind of surprising to see her. She's played by Julie Louis-Dreyfus, is Elaine from Seinfeld. And she did really good. I don't know if she's actually, that's the character's name, matches with Madam Hydra. I don't know if they're going to actually do the Hydra thing, because Hydra, Hydra and the Nazi thing seems like it's played out. Like they've really went into that with Cap, but they likely moving away from that. In a lot of ways, they're moving on, I think, to the Secret Wars with the Skrulls and all that, to be honest. So we'll see. But she's part of the government, and then she, after Walker, Discount Captain America, loses everything, she rebrands him as U.S. Agent, and gives him a new suit that's basically the same as the other one, but in black, because it's actually what it is to the comics, believe it or not. And apparently, too, this character, Madam Hydra, was actually supposed to already be introduced. What do we see here in this? She's going to be in Black Widow, but Black Widow's now been postponed like a year and a half, so now she got her first appearance, so that was cool. So aside from the Flag Smashers, I think the weakest plot point was the Power Broker thing. Like, this is the Power Broker's the one that managed to get the serum made, and then these Flag Smasher people stole the 20 vials from them, and who is the Power Broker? It's Sharon Carter, which is the great niece of Peggy Carter. She was in, I forget which one of the I think Winter Soldier or something like that. So yeah, it turns out she's the Power Broker. She's been on the run since Civil War, Captain America Civil War. And sure, okay, nobody gives a shit. I was like, oh, wow, Sharon Carter is the Power Broker. Wow.
This can only end in tears.
Yeah, no, except it couldn't. It was a very weak reveal, honestly. Through the whole thing, she felt very shoehorned in. Like I said, with the people are saying the Black Super Soldier guy seemed like he was shoehorned in. No, Sharon Carter, that was shoehorned in. She did very little, it seemed like, other than the point that she was the power broker, and that's the reason funded the super soldier serum and found a way to make it good. So I don't know. Overall, I did enjoy it. It wasn't nearly as innovative as WandaVision. I mean, that one went way out on a limb with the sitcom thing and then all that. It was really good. I know a lot of people may not have even liked the first 3 episodes, but when you know the whole thing, I loved WandaVision. It was fantastic. It was amazing TV. This was more like a 6-hour or 6-episode Marvel movie, so it's probably like a 5-hour. It'd be a 4 or 5 hour Marvel movie, really, and it was good. I mean, I like that they're doing these TV shows in conjunction with the movies in between. I really think it's cool. Was it like their best Marvel movie? No, because that would be like, Endgame and things like that. It's very little is going to catch up to that, but it is what you'd expect from something from Marvel. And Loki's coming up next, I think in June. So I look forward to seeing that. And moving on from the TV show to Mortal Kombat, I'm gonna have to probably watch it again. For some reason, I don't know if I was tired, but I was falling asleep during this, like in the middle of some of the fight scenes. So and they were good. They're well choreographed, but I don't know what was going on. I've slept like shit this whole weekend. Sib's been out of town, and apparently I don't sleep well when she's not around. I've just got a dog in the bed with me, and so I've not been sleeping great, and that might be why. But I might need to sit down and watch it again. I might probably wait for Sib to get home and watch it because I don't tell her, but I watched it already. I watched both of these. I'll have to watch both the season finale of Winter Soldier and Mortal Kombat again. Which damn, no. But no, it was good. I did enjoy it, despite the almost falling asleep and having to turn it off and then come back to it later. The one thing that was kind of annoying to me was Raiden's fucking glowing eyes. They're just constantly glowing white at all times, and it seems very unnecessary, especially because it's not like the pupils or not or even the pupils or the iris or something like that. It's just the whole eye is just glows, just like Photoshop white. It didn't look great to me. It's a nitpick, yeah, but it was always threw me off when he was on screen. The actor did fine. It was just the eye thing was just weird. I mean, I like the story. It didn't actually, believe it or not, the whole tournament doesn't. The tournament's not even in this. It's they set up the tournament, but I think they're setting up for a whole lot. Apparently, the guy that plays Sub-Zero said that they signed on to a 4-contract deal for the movies. If this one does well, they'll do that. So we might actually have a Mortal Kombat cinematic universe, which would be great because the games have definitely they're a movie unto themselves recently. But this whole thing, the tournament never even starts. The whole thing is rather Shang Tsung trying to cheat his way to victory and take out Earth's defenders before the tournament even begins. That way, when the tournament starts, Earthrealm has no one to fight for it, and they're doing the whole, you have to win 10 tournaments in a row, and then the Elder Gods will let the Outworld invade Earthrealm. So I don't know. It's a thing that they do. So the way they explain some of this stuff too is there's a new character called Cole something or other. He's fine. He's got a family. He's new to the series. He's not based on an actual character like Scorpion or Sub-Zero or Sonya Blade or blah blah blah. All the main ones. But he's got his like the Mortal Kombat. Shush! It's not time to eat. My dogs are getting grumpy because it's an hour until they're supposed to eat. But he's got the Mortal Kombat dragon like scar on him. He's a descendant of Hanzo, which is Scorpion. And hey, stop! I'm trying to do a show here. Hey, you guys go fight in another room. Hey. But so they're doing that. all the combatants that are supposed to be in Mortal Kombat have this tattoo, and that's what allows them to do their quirk, because I forget what they actually called it in the movie. So we're just going to go with quirk. It's their ability to use superpowers. And if you kill somebody that has the mark then transfers to you. That's how Kano got his, is he killed somebody that had it. Eventually Sonya gets hers because she kills Melina. And then they have to figure out how to use their quirk. It's why, how they can use fire, and Kung Lao can throw his frisbee hat and all that stuff. It's a good as explanation as any why there's superpowers, in in the world, but not everybody can have them. So it works. It's perfectly fine. And the part where if you kill somebody, it transfers over to them, as cool. It is a video game movie. Half of the movie is just a setup for the other half of it to be so people could just beat the shit out of each other. Except for one guy, and that's Kano. Because Kano fucking steals the show. Every time he's on screen, if he's talking, he is the star of every scene, basically. Kano, the guy that plays Kano, was great. All the other actors were fine. They're definitely better actors than the original Mortal Kombat, and certainly Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Hey, there's nobody out there, doofus. I'm growling at the window. But, the actors all around are much better than that, better than this. And the guy they got for Scorpion and Sub-Zero, both were fantastic. They both did a great job. The fight scenes are great. They're very brutal. The fatalities are in there. They definitely pushed the R rating as far as they could go. They don't do it. It is gratuitous, but it's not constant. Like when they do a fatality, it's a fatality, and it's on the screen, and then it's off. So it's a good. If you've got HBO Max, there's absolutely no reason not to watch this. Even if you got to open movie theaters and you're willing to go out, it'd be a good first movie. It's definitely a popcorn flick. You just sit there, you turn off your brain for 2 hours, and you watch violence. And that's it. You just watch violence. Also, you watch Sub-Zero kick complete ass because he is completely badass in this all the way around. In fact, the point that it takes multiple other people to take him down all on his own. So, and he is definitely a bad guy. He's definitely a bad guy. So, I liked it. It's very good. I really do hope, despite my ability to fall asleep in the middle of it for no reason whatsoever, even though it was a major fight scene with Goro as well. But they set up for a lot of other stuff. Even all the bad guys that they kill, Shang Tsung says, even death is just but another doorway or something like that. And then all the bad guys that have been killed off on his side vanish and go back to Outworld. I think what did I call it? Outer World earlier? Outworld. It's called Outworld. I couldn't remember what it was called. They're definitely setting up for more. I hope it does well enough. I still hope they're going off of views from HBO Max more than movie theaters stuff. Let's see here. Now that actually that Box Office Mojo I've had on here will finally come in handy. Yeah, because in the movies, it only made $4.7 million. That's just today. So let's see for the weekend. $22 million, which is good, but it's a COVID thing. There's a lot of places that still don't have movie theaters even open. A lot of movie theaters are closed. So $22 million is pretty good. I wonder how many people are actually just like me. I watched it on HBO Max. So hopefully that counts towards it being watched. Let's see. What is it? Demon Slayer movie Mugen Train. Oh, good for that. Oddly enough, the Demon Slayer movie, which is a movie based on an anime, made $19.5 million. Ooh, that's not good. Because it's a very popular anime. But it opened up here, and it made just $3 million less than Mortal Kombat. And then third place was Kong with $4.2 million, way back there. But Godzilla vs. Kong was also good, and also HBO Max. So, well, that's the show. That's the thing that you came here to listen to.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Yeah, you should be, because this is fantastic. It's one of the best shows and podcasts on the internet, according to one guy from Wisconsin. Just the one. Steve Stevenson from Stevenson, Wisconsin. It's a place. Google it. I'm going to say that knowing you're not going to Google it. So, thanks for listening. Appreciate it. Remember, Crash World Loading Twitch.tv/CrashWorldLoading is the place where you can watch it live. Follow us there. Click on the About button and go to join the Discord so you can put stories up that I will talk about. Like, I would not have known about this Kaplan guy if somebody who I forgot now didn't put that up. Oh, it was Ericus. Yeah. That's what I thought it was Ericus. I just didn't want to give someone else Ericus' credit. But, like, I wouldn't have known that. That story would not have crossed over, but I'm glad it did because, obviously, I looked into it because he seemed like a really important guy, and he was. So, yeah, join the Discord. Share stories that you find interesting. I'll probably talk about it on the show if it's, something I can talk about on the show and have something to say. As you may have noticed, I can talk about pretty much anything with no prompting whatsoever. Don't need a lot. So with that, that's it. I'm Asher Phoenix. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye. Music, as always, is provided by Husky by the Geek. Visit him at youtube.com/HuskyByTheGeek to hear all his latest in video game rock covers and original music. He's got some new ones on there that are fucking awesome, so check them out.